The reason was because we believed that he would never be able to get enough white votes. Yes, he could get a substantial number, if not all of the black vote, but he would never be able to get enough white votes to complement the black votes and give him a chance of actually winning. So we never even expected Jesse to come anywhere near to being the nominee. But we knew that he could use the campaign as a bully pulpit from which to present some issues that were pertinent to black folks, so that's why we supported Jesse's candidacy. Similarly, the same sort of thing can be said for Reverend Al Sharpton when he subsequently, pity-patted after Jesse's thing and threw his hat in the ring a couple of times. We knew that he didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting a nomination, but again, he could use the bully pulpit to keep a high profile on issues that were very important to black people and to the black community. It was, and we supported him based on that. Now you have this guy that comes up, he wins Iowa, where no black person had any reason to be expected to get any votes, much less to win. And so now we see that white people will vote for this guy. And so we started adding 2 and 2 to get 4. We said, well, hey, if black folks vote for this guy and white folks are willing to vote for this guy, he stands a chance. And then, while he didn't win New Hampshire, he ran a strong second in New Hampshire, another almost all lily white state. So now the next one to follow that would be South Carolina. You got some serious black folk down there in the Democratic Party, serious numbers of black folks. So now he has a real chance of winning South Carolina, because in addition to the white folks who have shown a willingness to vote for him, black folks simply come on over. And you remember the rank and file of black folks made the move way ahead of their so-called leaders, because the black leadership at that time, both in and out of both the civil rights leadership and the political leadership, all of these people at that time were on the Hillary Clinton bandwagon. And it was only after this guy started winning these state competitions and really projecting himself into the lead position, especially now head-to-head, and he was beating Hillary Clinton in those early races, if you'll recall. And so now the guy has to be taken seriously, but we got on board. That is to say, the black community got on board because white folks found this guy acceptable. We still didn't know anything about him. We still don't know much of anything about him except what we're told through the media, because, of course, black folks don't do any research. And the black folks who know the most about him are those of us who do some research, and we know that there are people who are responsible for this guy's ascendancy who don't have any particular interest in us, and in fact they are responsible for the strategy, including the strategy that says that in order for him to be able to have a snowball's chance in hell of getting a substantial number of votes from white people, he cannot under any circumstances be seen as, or allow himself to be seen as, a candidate who is going to do anything for black folks should he get in a position. So the one thing that he could not do, he could do a lot of other things, but the one thing he could not do is to in any way give the impression that he would show any kind of favorable treatment towards black people, and supposedly we were supposed to be his people. Now, I had forewarned, as you know from conversations that you and I had had, that we should not get so caught up in looking at this guy as a black candidate, because he was just as much white as he was black, biologically. You know, his mother was white, his father was black, but his mother was white. But even more so, he was not raised by his father or his father's people. He was raised as a white child in white circumstances and situations and cultures, and other cultures to the extent that he had some exposure to people other than, but the least exposure that he had was to black people. So for us to act as though this guy was a black candidate, when in fact nothing else about him was that, we then made up for that, or we made an excuse for that by pointing out that he had married this beautiful and attractive black woman, which was true. But that didn't make him black. It meant that he married a black woman. And so we now have this situation and this phenomenon where Barack Obama is now the president-elect. And the question is, what do black folks expect that we will be able to get from him now once he becomes the president? Okay. So in summary, then, let me say this in terms of what I think that we can look forward to. First and foremost, there's a saying, a song that used to say, whatever it took to get your baby hooked, it's going to take the same thing to keep her. To apply that to this political season, anything that Barack Obama was not either allowed to do or did not demonstrate a willingness to do relative to black people or on behalf of black people during the time that he was seeking the nomination. And then after the nomination,